now recording.
Here we
Welcome.
go.
Here we go. Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one. Welcome.
I've been waiting for this.
Yes. And this time, we are going to mention everyone who's going to be in the podcast at the beginning.
Not like the last time.
Yeah.
So, today, I am joined by Beaver,
What's up?
Kalamakal,
Yo.
and Armin.
Yeah, hello there.
And on today's episode of the Natural History Central podcast, we will be looking at a very recent documentary, which I believe we covered a fair amount. We talked about it in Paleo Month.
Well, we mentioned it, not name drop.
We discussed it in Paleo Month. We tweeted about it as well. And we discussed it for our Pachyrhinosaurus episode. That's right. Today, we are discussing the NHK Dinosaur Documentary of 2019, which still has no official English name.
Isn't it
English?
Dinosaur?
No. A Google Translate gave us Dinosaur Superworld, which is the one I'm sticking
Sounds
with.
like a kid's show.
One source, which we will not disclose, told us that the English title will be The Amazing World of Dinosaurs, but it hasn't been released in English yet, so for all we know, that was just a working title. And one title that is listed on one of the Japanese broadcasters, I believe TV Japan, had it as Mega Diverse Dinosaur World, I believe, which is just Mega Diverse Dinosaur World on the NHK World Premium channel. So that's just incredible.
10 out of 10 title, just it melts on your tongue.
Marvelous title. Just marvelous.
So we're gonna stick with Dinosaur Superworld for this video.
Still sounds like a kid's show.
I guess, but it's still bigger than Mega Diverse Dinosaur World. So yeah.
As you can already tell from from how we described it so far, it hasn't been released in English as of the time we record this.
Oh yes.
So we have no bloody clue what they were saying.
Yeah. We all watched it in Japanese. But that being said, I will give them props. You could understand what they were saying in episode 1, more or less. You got a feel of what the science was from the visual.
You could guess from the context, basically.
Episode 2 has a 10-minute segment of them watching skinks mate. So I have no clue. Just to give a bit of context, episode 2 just throws that out of the window. There's one bit I vaguely infer about a nodosaur and a plesiosaur.
Yeah, that's kind of.
That's all I learned from that one, to be honest. Like, all I could understand.
We are probably not going to talk about this again just because it releases in English.
We ain't discussing.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the discussion of the episode, of the series. This is going to be our only one. Unless, of course, the English documentary is released and it just has a completely insane narration, in which case maybe, but it won't be the case.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, well, we need that now. I need a Nicolas Cage dinosaur documentary, please.
Just at the end of episode 2. No, not the Surfactulus. No. Please, Mr. Cage, if a Japanese studio contacts you and wants to narrate you one of their shows, please say yes. Thank you in advance.
I'm sure they'll donate one of the dinosaur skulls as well.
I'm sure he would like that. Like a new Trabosaurus skull as replacement.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we've gotten off topic because we really don't want to get into part of this review, but we must.
Yeah, we have a lot to discuss.
We didn't understand a thing, but there's still a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Now, a brief overview of the show. The series is a 2-episode series only. and this is how it's split. The first episode focuses on feathered dinosaurs. That is part of the Google Translate title. So yeah, it's entirely about feathered dinosaurs, and that's pretty much it. It's got stuff we'll go into more in depth. And the theme of the second episode is mosasaurs. Yes. Mosasaurs don't exactly have the best. They don't have the best reputation in dinosaur documentaries. Think back to Monsters Resurrected was the last show I can remember that had a mosasaur episode dedicated to them. Yeah.
Yep.
So I never had the best of confidence going in. But yeah, that's just it. That's the 2 episodes, and that's all we'll be discussing for the overall series. There's no overarching story arc, nothing. It's just 2 distinct episodes, pretty much. So let's just get into it with the first one.
Here we go.
Okay, first one. Feathered dinosaurs. They sure made. They certainly did put feathers on every dinosaur we saw.
Yes, including a lot that did not need that shouldn't have had feathers. Which is the exact opposite of their scaly troodon from Leaps in Evolution, but I take too much feather over too little feather, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just personally, but it's still gross inaccuracy. Although, to be fair, for the Tyrannosaurs, I guess the paper only came out 2 years ago. Maybe visual effects were already in production by that point, so...
It's more excusable than what they did to Pachyrhinosaurus.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yeah, the Pachyrhinosaurus is in this episode, and yes, it does fit the title of Feathered Dinosaurs. But we're gonna get into that later. The bulk of the story is, and where it starts out, is Mongolia. Because this documentary is the first, and also best, obviously, but actually pretty good, depiction of Dinosaurus. Which was pretty damn epic to see.
AKA, it's a big giant flamingo.
Also, I was watching this episode just with a friend of mine who speaks a bit of Japanese or something, and among other things, she suspects they named the Dinosaurus Nico. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward because that's the most common name here where I live. But anyways, the Dinosaurus, like say Dinosaur Planet, it does focus on a particular individual. We're not going to get into the story too much. The first one definitely has more of a story-based structure than the second one.
I mean, the second one doesn't have a story at all.
The second one is just
terrible, but
yeah, first one.
If you want, Armin, go ahead and share the picture of the Dinosaurus so that we have something to see what we're talking about.
As you've already said, it's pretty much a big, massive flamingo.
Big, massive flamingo.
Yeah.
With a spoon bill.
Which is accurate. It's actually pretty damn accurate. The only inaccuracy I can think of is the lack of primary wing fingers on the hand, which they did have. We know that from the Ornithomimus specimen preserving feathers.
The toes always seemed awfully short on the model, to be fair.
Oh yes, the foot is very short. As you can see, if you just really look hard, at the tip of the tail, there is a small bunch of long red feathers, which is actually inaccurate. It is accurate in that it did have a bunch of fused bones at the tip of the tail, suggesting it supported which are a sort of pseudo pygostyle or pygostyle, which is the bone that supports long feathers in, for instance, oviraptorosaurs. So it would have supported a sort of mini clump or tail fan or something like that. So that's also accurate.
You can also tell how the hump on the back is a little ditched in, which I thought
if you want to show.
At first, it seemed like we were pulling an Iffy or Venator on it, but it does turn out in the document that it's supposed to be damage from the previous encounter with theropods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's basically a round bite mark in the back of it.
Yeah, but you do also see a lot of individuals. You also see a male as well at some point, which has a slightly different scheme. It's got a bit of blue and the like on the hump. And all of these individuals have full humps. It's all normal. This is a pathology.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like the Pachyrhinosaurs from Walking with Dinosaurs 3D.
Yes.
Let's just hope it. Let's just hope Jurassic World 3 doesn't have a Tinochirus and all of them have a ditch in the back because it just copied the
Oh
sign.
no. Oh god. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Please, no.
Now actually, the first dinosaur to appear in this documentary is not Dinochirus, but it's Avimimus, which appears early on.
A whole flock of them actually.
Yeah, there's a whole flock in the beginning.
Now,
There's a big stampede.
Yeah, the picture I'm sharing is from late in the episodes when they come to a lake, but it just has a much better image quality. And oh boy, I do not like the design at all. It's oh boy.
I mean, it's tied for my least favorite design, actually, of this episode.
Look at that short tail.
I mean, yeah, Avimimus does have a very short tail.
It did quite possibly. I don't know.
I mean, I'll check, but
no, it did. No, it's not known. The tail is not known, but the first image on Wikipedia shows it with a short tail, so we know where they got their info from. But yeah,
it's kind of
the color scheme is all. Once again, don't be fooled. It again lacks primary wing feathers.
I'd imagine they based the idea of Avimimus with a short tail is probably maybe based on Caudipteryx, for example.
Yeah,
because
I'm not a big
some
fan.
of the more basal stuff of the group did have shorter tails.
Yeah.
I mean, it could, by all accounts, have a longer tail, but
similarly, Caudipteryx especially has an even shorter tail.
Yeah, exactly. It's like tiny.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you can't really fault them for that. That's perfectly accurate for all we know.
Yeah. No, it's not inaccurate with the exception of the lack of primaries. The main issue is, oh my god, that color scheme.
They look like miniature big birds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. So I'm not the biggest fan of the design.
So yeah,
yeah.
basically we can confirm that the first episode combines Sesame Street with the Teletubby Land.
Yes, because it does look like it's in Teletubby Land.
Yeah, they made the strange design choice of production choice of having the entire segment in Mongolia set mostly in grassland with many hills.
And this is like New Zealand as well. Like, how hard is it to find a forest in New Zealand? They do film it in forest, but they just
decide with dinosaurs. That worked perfectly well. But yeah, it looks like it got them golf course. To be fair,
yeah, and they set a lot of it on the golf course. There's, I think, one sequence, the one with the lake. There's this one long sequence, which is
and the
pretty
one
nice.
in the forest. Those are the only.
It's one sequence where it starts in a forest and then they go to a lake, and it's honestly pretty nice.
It's nice visuals. I mean, should I post a second Avimimus picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
That one did take place at the lake, and I just thought it was a really nice shot. So it looks pretty damn nice.
Unidentified sauropods in the background, but yeah.
We'll get more of those.
Oh yeah. Well, no, this is the only sauropod in the episode.
Yeah,
it's just there to provide a bit of background. It's nice. There were 2 sauropods from the Namek formation, so yeah.
Could be any of them.
But yeah, so there's a flock of Avimimus in the opening scene. And the other genus to appear in the opening scene is the Tarbosaurus.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I got it.
No, what?
Hold on.
What?
Let me share
No,
a screenshot.
no. Armin is the official screenshotter.
Wait,
Armin is the official screenshotter.
Stop right there.
We literally sat in DMs trying to pick which ones we should use.
I've been So you saying I'm using my 242 screenshots for nothing?
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
why you took 200 screenshots in the first
Yeah,
place.
why did you take
I literally
242?
Until an hour before we did this to take all the screenshots.
But yeah, so that's
I'm
the
sorry.
Tyrannosaurus, which is. It's not my
Bad.
least favorite Tyrannosaur in the documentary. We all know which episode has that one. Obviously, it should be obvious. But it is, although I do find it somewhat aesthetically pleasing, like just from a design, I like the brown feathers and the very slight counter shading with the top jaw and the lower jaw is nice for me. But it is inaccurate in every way imaginable.
Every
For once, it's a
way.
with a naked.
It has
Park
tarsal
cat glued on
screws.
it.
Okay, the ankles are okay. I'll give them that. But it has the whole lip lacking, which all of these genera have. It has
JP T-Rex head.
JP Rex head, and
It just naked head glued
Oh.
onto a feathered body,
yeah,
like some
And-
third graders arts and craft project.
And that's
or
how it's
or
done.
a clickbait YouTube thumbnail.
Oh, that's
Yes.
In a
And then
way-
they just put feathers, which are also inaccurate nowadays.
at least that amount of feathers. I mean,
Yes. Let's be clear.
even the well-known feathered Sauron Rex didn't have that many.
Yeah, and even now with the 2017 paper arguing that there was a 2.6% chance that T-Rex had any feathers, which is just okay. You pulled some maths out of nowhere. Thank you. But there's still a possibility, a high probability, in my opinion. I see no reason why it can't have had elephantine fuzz sort of feathers. It could very likely have had sparse feathering, but definitely not full body covering, essentially.
In a way, they do remind me of the monsters from the Critters movie. Or movies, actually.
I've not seen that, so oof.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that-
sure all of 0.5 people got that reference. So congrats to you.
Okay.
Mm.
So that's the Turbo. It's
Bad, and bad. That's all you
but I
need
do
here.
find it aesthetically pleasing, personally. This is just personal. Of all the JP Rexes out there, this is the best one. Of all the feathered JP Rexes.
Thank you for specifying.
Yeah, because the actual JP Rex does, for once, beat out something in a documentary.
Surprising.
So we're still at the opening. So we've mentioned we see Epimamus, we see Tarbosaurus. The in basic setup is we see a flock, a stampede of the Epimamus followed by the Dinosaurus, followed by the Tarbosaurus, which were hunting them down.
And
And
it's
our-
heavily implied, even though we don't get the narration, that the Tarbosaurus are the reason why there's a cookie cutter shaped hole in the sail of in the spine of the Dinosaurus.
I mean, I
I
doubt
just
this-
assume it was the Turbo.
It was
That's not
actually the Avimamus ganged up on the Dinosaurus.
little piranhas.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got the stampedes, we got 3 Dinosaurus, and then we got our obvious main character because it looks different from the others. How to make sure people know that the dinosaur is the main character? Give it some random pathology. That works always.
I mean, Pachyrhinosaurus, Patchy, the Pachyrhinosaurus from Walking with Dinosaurs 3D, Broken Jaw, the Allosaurus from Dinosaur Revolution, Stumpy, the Tyrannosaurus, also from Dinosaur Revolution.
We got
Wow.
the stubby armed or stumpy Albertosaurus and Primule. Granted, not the
True.
documentary, but same.
And also
principle.
not the protagonist, but yeah, it was still important.
Yeah, well, it
Scar
was the
the
main
Edmontosaurus?
antagonist. So
Scar, the Edmontosaurus
yeah,
from March of the Dinosaurs, and so forth.
so yeah, plenty of examples.
Yeah.
So our main character is the last. He gets chased down, comes over the cliff, falls down the cliff.
Oh, yes.
And survives a fall at least 4 times his height. Her height, sorry.
And survives the Tyrannosaurus because they end up going after all 3 others. Like, we don't kill just one, we kill all the other 3 Dinosaurs.
Well, to be fair, there are 4 Tarbosaurs. I mean,
fair enough.
yeah, no. That's sometimes that overkill actually makes sense because there are 4 of them, and they're all bigger than the Dinosaurs. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's still kind of funny that the one that fell down the cliff is the only one to make it out. So,
Of course.
What?
the epic pro gamer move.
Yeah. But yeah, we probably shouldn't dwell too much on the plot actually, because then we're never gonna finish this episode.
Yeah, but
So
we're gonna
that's the
fly
premise.
through the next one, so...
Well, no,
That'll
but the
take
next one has
forever.
the next one does have the second episode does have a lot of, although there's no overarching plot, there's a lot of insane scenes. So let's not start with scene discussion here.
Okay, yeah.
Then we get your sort of traditional, after a bit of a documentary, of a talking head, so to speak, interlude. Although I actually liked the talking heads in this one, they weren't too intrusive.
Yeah, it was pretty well done. It was, the segments were comparably long. It don't just cut in quick scenes in
Exactly.
between, which I found nice.
Sizable chunks of both.
Yeah, they have nice imagery. They do give examples, fossils. So it's not just, look at this paleontologist talking to a camera for 5 minutes straight. we all know which documentary did that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it was actually, despite not understanding a word, it was pretty interesting to look at least.
Yep. Just let me get an image to use as example of. Just give me a second, because I'm going to bring up the image in question. God damn it! Where is oof? Damn it! What?
This is one of those moments where you depend
We
on me
need
to
to
share a screenshot.
Okay, there we go. No, because it's not.
No.
It's here we go. Just an example of how they managed to make the talkie segments also visually interesting.
Oh yes, you could have just told me. I got the same picture saved.
Yes, I know, but hush. I thought it would be easier to find.
Akira wants to feel useful in this while recording. I mean, of course, you're our editor, so.
Sure.
But yeah,
Sure.
it's a great visual, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a guy with Dinosaurus arms, which is just the concept alone is. Sorry, no. I'm sorry, Akira. I've been good these past 3 episodes, and now I screw it up. Okay,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Swear.
Twice. But yeah, okay. Okay, go on. Commence.
It's a
Continue.
great visual. It's just the concept alone is pretty cool.
Yeah. So after the Tarbosaurus opening, in which we do get a lot of cool visuals, there's the sunset setting in the New Zealand where they filmed it is gorgeous. There's just so much of the sunset, and they play around with the time of day a lot in this episode, unlike the next one where it's all harsh daylight. But
And underwater.
yes, and the night scenes are the underwater ones. So then. Sorry, someone's beeping. Someone
Yeah, what?
picked up. Someone picked up Godzilla on the radar. It's too late. It's too late
Yes,
for.
coming.
Yeah. So after the talking segment, we then go to the forest, and we have the more peaceful sequence. It's honestly very nice. It's very very well filmed. You got a lovely peaceful segment of the dinosaurs in the forest and lake, and you see the other animals. It felt very when dinosaurs roamed America, or even walking. Not the same
No, I
extent.
think it felt more like the first segment of When Dinosaurs Roamed. Where you see a lot
America.
of general for.
Yeah, like the Silver segment, the forest, very calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this part is more walking when dinosaurs roamed.
Yeah.
The lake segment is a little more walking with, I think, especially visually.
Yes,
Like
definitely.
the A.V. Mimer's picture we showed earlier reminded me a lot of the scenes we had in Ballad of Big Al.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely.
forest, we get another genus. And
First off, it's
yeah,
go on. You
Oh,
go on.
Okay, I thought you wanted to say it before I posted.
No. I want to see if you're gonna post the correct one. Go ahead. Huh? The correct genus. Yes.
Protoceratops.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really like this design. It's the first time I've seen a Protoceratops that isn't the color of sand. That being said, this Protoceratops should be living in the desert because Protoceratops is not actually from the Nemegt Formation like the rest of the fauna, but it's from the nearby Jadocta Formation, which was desert. I will give them props. It's the only time I've seen a burrowing Protoceratops, which is something it could do. There has been a lot of people supporting the idea of Protoceratops having dug burrows, which would explain the ways in which we found the fossils, why we find so many of them. Of course, once again, it would not have dug burrows in dirt, but in sand and sand dunes and the like.
It's
I
pretty
love
nice
this
visually.
proto.
I feel like the jaw is a little bit too flat. The lower jaw, I mean.
Yeah. I've seen
it should be a little bit more rounded.
A lot. Yeah.
Vinny Rexy has been going on about it for ages.
Yes, it's the worst documentary ever because the Protoceratops' lower jaw is not round enough. But
I mean, it is a mistake. I feel it's worth pointing out, but not the end of the world. Let's just
oh yeah.
And Protoceratops is one of those examples where we see a dinosaur we don't have confirmation for feathers. Given feathers, I mean, it's not too bad.
Well, not necessarily feathers, filaments. Because then there's the other debate of whether or not the structures on Psittacosaurus are feathers, or just homologous too. Actually, I believe they're only proposed as homologous. They're not true feathers.
Since you already mentioned Psittacosaurus, everyone who's watching already knows where this is going because we've got our favorite meme regarding ceratopsians: quills on the tail.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind it with the smaller stuff, Protoceratops. Like, I'm fine with it personally. It's just when it gets to the big ones that it gets a little...
If I ever see you put quills or whatever on a Triceratops, I will hunt you down.
Yes.
But yeah, I honestly, what I like about this documentary is that a lot of the more speculative stuff, and to an extent, speculative and or inaccurate stuff, like the quilled Protoceratops, which is very speculative, and the horned Pachyrhinosaurus, which is downright inaccurate, that the documentary does not dwell upon them. They're not like, ooh, look at us, we did this. There's no mention of the quills. I mean, unless the narrator is just really throwing us a curveball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, visually, I mean, we don't know, the narrator was just screaming, oh my god, quills! Oh! We don't know, we don't speak Japanese.
Lovely female impression there, Armin, but...
I speak German, so everyone should be happy with this stereotype. Even though I'm not German.
Yeah.
So, point is, at least from a visual standpoint, they don't really dwell on it.
And it's honestly a nice design, actually. I like the quill.
I think I do like how the quills start out with the color of the body and then go from yellow to red.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Also, props to the design on the frill. I like the design on the frill.
Oh, yes.
True. It's a great design.
Yeah.
I could just pet it.
Also, both of the Protoceratops are identical, so it's probable they're both male, given the amount of display features they have. Just saying. That's a twist. I honestly expect that. Yeah, hanging out in there.
Two bros chilling in a dirt burrow, 5 feet apart, because they're not gay. Like, not that that would be wrong. I mean,
of course, yeah. So we joke, but honestly, it's maybe it's intended that way.
I totally watched a documentary about 2 gay Protoceratops. Like,
absolutely hell yeah.
Yes.
I honestly, I would have taken that over episode 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
but that's not saying much. But yeah, so that's the Protoceratops. The pair then make a cameo later on, walking by the Dinochirus nest, but that's just a
Probably
quick
looking for
shot.
some real estate. I in my head canon, they decided to move out of the forest into the fields and bought a house together. You can't
Okay.
change my mind about that.
Okay, when are we doing the NHC dub of the documentary?
I'm in.
We of course need Sassy for the Tyrannosaurs.
I'll do all the wows. Wow.
Nani? Yeah.
What?
Oh,
We could have so much fun with that. But yeah. That's it for the Protoceratops, and then we come to another dinosaur making its debut in this documentary. Drumroll.
I don't have anything
Perfection.
to drum with.
I should have taken the time to post the image while we were drum rolling.
Yes.
Oh, the best boy in the
Yeah.
documentary.
Halscaraptor.
Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful they put it in. I mean, I don't think it's the correct formation, but just the
It
fact
is.
that
It
they
is.
put
Is it?
Oh,
Is
is it?
It is, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure
It's
it is.
beautiful.
The point is, I love that they
Best
put it in. It's
dinosaur
just,
in the documentary.
it deserves more attention.
No, it's not. It's from the Geodocta formation. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Darn it.
But you put Protoceratops in there, you have no excuse to not.
you
put
might as well put in
Yeah.
Halscaraptor.
I love it so much.
Then I mean, they obviously went with the swan meme.
Which is a bit of a shame, especially. Just a second, we'll share a picture after this, but I don't want to get to that yet when they share when there's a close-up of the skull. But what I would like to point out is that it actually has primary feathers.
That's a big step because
Yeah.
none
Big
of the.
step in the right
I don't think any of the
direction.
other theropods
None.
have primaries in this.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you can tell that our Dinochirus in the background doesn't have any.
Yeah. What I would like to point out, though, is that there's a big issue whether or not these dinosaurs actually had tertials, which are the feathers that attach to the upper arm.
So basically, I think we should explain it. Like, we have primaries, which are the feathers that attach to the fingers. Secondaries, finger, yes.
Yeah. I think it's
Secondaries
just
which
the one.
attach to the lower arm, and the tertiaries which attach to the upper arm.
Now, there's one key distinction I'd like to point out, which is that of all of these, the tertials, the upper arm feathers, are the only ones that don't actually connect with the bone. These ones are just attached to the flesh. They're not rooted in the bone. That's just, I wanted to point that out because that might explain, because basically, as far as I'm aware, I've been looking into this a lot lately, but every non-avian or non-avialan theropod preserved with wing feathers or pennaceous feathers on the arm does not have them on the upper arm. They're only the lower arm and hand. Archaeopteryx has this, Zenuan long has this, Ornithomimus has this. It's a very widespread feature. Microraptor may also have this allegedly, though there's no published source addressing this. Now, does that make this inaccurate? That's a tough call, because the thing is, on the one hand, it's not evidence of absence, it's absence of evidence. There is always the possibility that these feathers fell off as the flesh decomposed, and only the ones attached to the bone fossilized or were preserved as imprints. But we will never get anything other than absence of evidence to prove it, to show they were absent. We will never know that they were truly absent, so to speak, because there's no marks on the bone. Whether or not they're there is entirely determined by whether or not we find them preserved. So if we don't find them preserved,
we can't tell.
We will only be able to tell for sure if they are there. We'll never be able to tell for sure if they're absent unless we get like the most incredible preservation quality ever, where you see like the details on every feather, and then you're like, okay, possibly didn't fall off, and you can even tell the skin on the arm was still there. But it's practically impossible we'll ever have a specimen well preserved enough that we'll know for sure that it in life lacked these tertials. That being said, there is one animal that does preserve tertial feathers, which is Scansoriopteryx, in the biggest bamboozle of all time. The one genus with relatives that fly with membranes is the one to have tertial feathers. But the feathers are actually filamentous. They're not actually pinnaceous feathers, I believe. They're just single. They're not branching. So it's more likely that these just covered a membrane. But that's just really off topic. We're getting a whole discussion about feathering on dinosaurs. And we probably should. Actually, that's one for the
Geeky episodes when...
Ichi. God damn it, say it right.
Yeet-chi.
Yes.
Explainer on the feather.
Ichi.
God damn, I got to it.
Never mind.
Let's keep going.
So,
Yeah,
okay,
so
should I
basically
jump?
the tertials are a bit of an issue, but other than that, it's amazing. And
So,
primaries.
I love it.
Can you just share a picture of the skull, though, of the head?
Yeah, I was gonna say, should I post the one with the Dinosaurs in the background or the head?
The head.
The
First
head
of all.
it is.
I don't like that.
Yeah, the way the neck attaches, and obviously the swan meme.
No, what I hate is the swan meme. That's what really bugs me. I mean, why do they have to color it like that? I mean, making it white feathers is enough, but giving this thing when
Looks
it doesn't
more
even
like-
have a
more-
beak.
Looks
That's just
more like a
flesh
stem
colored
bird.
like a beak. It looks like a hesperornithine or something like that. It looks terrible.
Looks
I despise that
like
color
a
scheme
stem
on the
bird.
head.
Yeah, I mean, what I really dislike is, I mean, I'm not sure how, because I think in Huscaraptor there's the neck attaches at the back of the skull. Then in this one, it's looks like it attaches in the middle underneath the skull.
Oh yeah, no. I believe you're
Yeah,
I
that
believe you're
really
right about
bugs
that.
me. It looks
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah, it's
Just
Yep.
why?
Yeah.
Just why?
I could bypass it.
We also get to see it swimming a bit, which is nice. It's pretty decent swimming. I mean, it's using its tiny arms to paddle along. It's okay. And we do get one shot where it is standing in front of the Dinochirus.
Okay.
Armin, if you'd like to do the
Yeah.
honors.
This is also a picture really well that shows the pathology of Dinosaurus pretty well.
Yeah. And also, oh my god, that's a collapsible torso. That's just no ribs whatsoever at that point. And like, that should not be able to compress like that. What is that?
Obviously, it's an invertebrate. Which you know from
Even
all
then,
the
even
know
then.
that.
Dinosaurus bones.
He's a bendy boy.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way that the shot is set up, but
Oh yeah, the shot is pretty nice. The anatomy is questionable at best.
yeah, not so much just the anatomy, but also the rigging and the skeleton. Yeah, anatomy, I guess, behind the scenes would be the term. But yeah,
But it's a nice shot. Cinematography is pretty on point, I think.
yeah.
It's
No,
good.
in this documentary especially, you get some really on point cinematography.
Mm.
Too bad they apparently fired the cinematographer in between episodes.
Seriously.
Yeah. Really?
I'm just joking, but okay.
Oh, okay. Oof. I believed you, and that says a lot about the second episode.
Oh, people who haven't watched the documentary must be so hyped up for what a dumpster fire the next one is gonna be.
Yeah. Okay, give me a second though. I'm gonna need to edit this bit out. Someone's calling me. God damn it. Yeah. Don't worry. I will.
He'll do an edit.
More like a dumpster nuke.
Imagine just nuking one single dumpster. Just a miniature atomic explosion in the neighborhood.
I mean, that's what they did.
Like, it's just a 3-meter tall mushroom cloud from your neighbor's trash can. Just look out the window. Oh, it's Wednesday again.
If If only that's how nukes worked.
Right, well, I'm not editing that out. So,
Wait.
okay, let's get back into it.
Oh god.
Okay. I think this is the point.
Yeah.
Is this the point where they jump to Alaska?
No. The Alaska bit is the penultimate bit. You still have the mating
Okay, so
sequence, which is gorgeous.
breeding bit with the eggs and stuff, hatches.
Yeah, well, we have a courtship bit, which is just too gorgeous to capture in pictures. I mean, the entire sequence is, oh my god, it's beautiful.
Just look it up for yourself. I'm pretty sure episode 1 is on YouTube. I'm not sure.
It is, yeah.
How
I don't know how much.
I think some scenes were cut out.
Yeah, I think the ending, but you can find it on places if you know where to
Daily
look.
Motion.
Yeah,
basically.
Motion has everything.
Yeah.
It's also how I got the screenshots.
Yeah. Using the Japanese title might help. That's all I'm gonna say. Hint, hint. But yeah, just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And then after that, we cut to the eggs having been laid. There's this nest. Nest is really big. That's one of the issues brought up. Do we have a picture of the nest?
I do not.
Uh,
I think 200 plus screenshots are.
Yeah. Come on.
Beaver.
Deliver. What, Beaver just leave the
He
server?
just doesn't post it out of
right.
spite.
I'm literally right here.
We need the eggs.
Can you get us a
What?
picture of the nest?
Like the Dinosaurs in the nest.
Yeah, I think there's a nice shot from above, I think.
Oh yeah, that there is.
Hold on.
I think that one would be pretty fitting right now. So, pretty please.
Hold on. Here it is.
Not the shot I was referring to, but
Not
that
the
one
shot.
works too.
I know, but still, it's the nest. It's the nest. Dude.
Okay, now that he has power, he is using all of it against us.
Yes.
Take it
But,
away.
yeah, that's a bit of context. So it has to just move around to cover each of the eggs with its feathers, like one by one, pretty much. So it's a bit of a weird nest design.
But yeah,
But honestly, it's fine.
I mean, don't we have nest shapes like
It's a
that
good nest.
from Oviraptorosaurus?
The nests are shaped like that, yeah, but the Oviraptorosaurus would have had much larger feathers, and they would have been able to cover like at least half of it at a time.
No, fair enough.
Is the concept behind that? But yeah, it's based on Oviraptor eggs. And what I do like is that there's this one bit where they're showing the actual Oviraptor eggs, and which are often, so we all expected they would be ID'd as Gigantoraptor. But all they do is identify them as Oviraptor-like, which is a sort of rough transliteration. So obviously, what they mean is Oviraptoroid or Oviraptorosaur or Oviraptorid eggs, which is good because Uotaxa are not actual taxa of animals and should not be treated as such unless we have direct knowledge of what these eggs are. Which,
Like,
in the case of this fossilized nest,
I think Khan
embryos.
was discovered on its nest, wasn't it?
Khan was discovered Oviraptor, or is that
It's now
Sittipati?
Or it's City Patty now, yeah.
Yeah. The Sittipati has been found on its eggs and all that, but yeah. For the most part, if an egg is found isolated, we should not be assigning it to a genus.
Okay, no. Khan was discovered on its own. Sorry,
Okay.
that was my mistake.
That's okay. I forgive you.
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Oh, drama.
But yeah.
So, we have a dinosaur protecting its nest, so we have to have obligatory nest raiders.
And this fight is the only Awesome Bro sequence from this episode, in my opinion. And that's the only one that does not serve a purpose to the plot, and it's also very unrealistic that would ever have happened.
It's pretty
Tarbosaur-
memeable, at least. I mean, it
Yeah.
just.
I'm
leaks.
thanking them for it. But like the Turbosaurus fight at the beginning, but there were fears by certain people in the community that would be a very awesome documentary. But actually, the first episode handles it very well, with the first fight
The
being.
second one.
I think didn't you
The
specifically
first fight
point out how the first trailer was very much focused on family and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and
Which
only
gets a bit
some-
more of a focus in this episode.
Yeah,
I
and
feel,
only
the
some scenes were awesome boyish. Well,
Yeah, it was
turns
the second
out
trailer.
all the awesome boyish scenes are put into episode 1.
Episode
2,
two.
I mean.
Episode 2. Episode 1 has like has a fair amount of Tarbosaurus attacking Dinosaurus, but the way it's filmed is beautiful, and it's especially the last fight.
Getting
The
ahead
last
of
fight
ourselves, I think.
Now I'm also talking about the first fight as well.
Oh, okay.
It's like there's a lot of action in that bit, but it's all condensed. It's just rapid fire, and it serves to get the plot going. It serves a purpose. This one has no purpose, and is also the big stupid, as the technical term goes.
Big stupid.
Look it up, people.
Yeah. But yeah, do you want to go ahead and share what this 12-meter long Dinosaurus' opponents are?
Oh, I love to.
Who can they possibly be?
Wait a minute.
Zanabazar.
Here we go.
Also
Zanabazar.
getting a debut, which is amazing at long last. Zanabazar is a really nice dinosaur name. No, it's a really nice dinosaur, not just a name. But yeah.
Don't you mean Tyrannosaurus Jr.?
No, that was the old name. Now it's Zanabazar Jr.
I
It's
know,
the largest
I was
Asian.
joking.
No, how dare! It's the largest Asian troodontid at, I believe, around 2 meters in length. It must have been just smaller than Latinovenatrix and
I
possibly
like this color scheme.
Titanosaurus.
Color scheme is, in my opinion, a little top. It's very reminiscent of bee eaters, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's very over the top in my opinion. I mean, there's yellow, there's blue, there's green, there's red. Granted, they're not very large on the neck. But if you want to go ahead and share also the full body one.
Oh yes, of course.
It's too saturated for me.
It's too saturated, too much contrast. There's blue on the body as well, which is just no. At least have predominantly green to camouflage against this Windows desktop, but. But, yeah.
But that brings back memories.
But honestly, it's initially I disliked it more than the Avimimus. Now it's kind of on par.
I think Avimimus is worse because at least there's some green, so that blends in a little bit, unlike Big Bird from the intro.
I suppose. Again, no primaries. I will give them props for not just doing the troodontid that appears later, but with a different color scheme. It's completely original model, which is how it should be. I think it's a very good model.
Good.
Just because both are troodontids doesn't mean they both look the same.
Yeah. Actually, if I would say something, I would say that maybe the skull is a bit too short. Zanabazar actually has a really long skull. I'll share a skeletal now.
Do it.
Long.
That's an extremely long skull. So
This
yeah,
is like Yunnan Legain levels of
almost.
long.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a midway between your average. Well, I was going to say Dromaeosaur, but Troodons are Dromaeosaurids or anything.
Deinonychosaurs.
Yeah, no, but Unilagains are Deinonychosaurs too. It's your average. Yeah, okay. It's your average Deinonychosaur. It's midway between like your average Dromaeosaur or Troodontid and your Unilagain. But it's very nice. Obviously, here it's called Sauronathoides Jr. because that was the original name given to it, as we mentioned earlier. Honestly, really nice to see Zanabazar in the documentary. It's identified as such. That's one of the nice things about this documentary. It
keeps
about
up
this
to date with
episode.
genera names, so
At this episode, it's got a lot of dinosaur genera properly identified. Like the text on the Zanabazar when it appears is Zanabazar. So it's really nice that this episode does that. This episode. But
oh gee, I wonder what point you're trying to make here.
Yeah. So that's it. So there's a fight scene between 4 Zanabazar, if I remember correctly, and the Dinosaurus. It's ridiculous. The Dinosaurus just yeets one out of the way. It slaps one into the camera.
Sounds fun.
I mean, as stupid as it was, it might be one of my favorite scenes from the entire documentary, just for how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. No, it's incredible.
It's like
But
trying to
it's
fight the
completely
big boss.
inconsequential as well. It eats one of the man just eats an egg and then run off. It's no consequence, no bearing on the plot. So
Yeah.
you could take it
Yeah,
out and nothing
just-
would change.
We have a scene with a big dinosaur trying to hatch his eggs, so of course we need some small theropods trying to steal them, i.e. Ornithulestes and Big L and God knows what else.
The
You get my point.
Oviraptor, the Oviraptor in Planet Dinosaur does that twice with the Gigantoraptor and the Sauronithoides. So, yeah, and I'm sure you get it elsewhere as well. You have and not just
Yeah,
dinosaurs, you have the Seymoria in Walking with Monsters.
Yeah,
I believe that breaks in. You have Didelphodon.
I was gonna say that next. In Dinosaur Planet, we also had a couple of nest raiders. I think.
Dinosaur Planet.
I think
Oh,
with the Alpha
yeah.
segment, we had an Alvarezzo and Notosukas.
Yeah, Planet Dinosaur again with the Chiangopterid and Scorpio Venator. But yeah, that's just the list goes on. So then the eggs hatch. There's babies. If you want to show a picture,
They're pretty adorable. I love them. They need to be protected at all costs.
actually, do we have? I don't know if we have. These are them. This is them after having. This is them at the end. Actually, this is not them right after having hatched. I believe after having hatched, they're a bit browner and fuzzier.
Possibly.
They are. What I don't like about these hatchlings is that they are miniature adults.
Yeah, it's a little bit lazy. I could have played a lot more with the ontogeny, for example, with the skull shape.
Yeah.
Because as we see in other genera, which have very different morphology in the juvenile stages and in the adult stages. Also, I think Beaver wants to post something.
I have the screenshot of them in the nest after
Oh.
hatching.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if Akira was ignoring you on purpose or just didn't hear you loudly.
I did not hear you. I did not hear you.
Because he was pretty loudly clearing his throat a couple of times.
Oh no, I just thought he was clearing his throat.
Yeah, sure.
But yes, go ahead. I'm waiting. Come in.
Okay.
He has to go through 200 some
Oh
pictures.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
that's bad. This looks like a scene out of Gulliver's
Wait.
Travels.
Wait. What about the other one? Hold on.
But
No,
wait,
that's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
I think that captures it best. That's
It's a pretty terrible case of just shrinking down the adult model because
yeah.
oh boy.
At least they gave it different colors. At least they're not pink from birth, in which case that would have been a bit ridiculous. But yeah. Now that pretty much concludes the Dinosaur segment. There is that tiny segment at the very end, but we're not going to spoil what that is. It's just, honestly, I really like the segment at the end. Actually, no, we're probably going to spoil it, aren't we? Because we're going to need to reference it at the end of the next episode. When they
Spoiler
pull a similar one.
alert.
Yeah. Okay. Spoiler alert. So the climax is the Dinosaurus fighting a Turbosaurus. It's honestly, and the soundtrack is basically Japanese pop.
Yeah. The music started a little bit earlier when it was still eating, and I was
Yeah, it's
sitting there,
eating.
I was dumbfounded. Japanese pop music just started. What the hell is going on right now?
I wasn't that surprised. I'm gonna be blunt. I've come to expect that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But and then the
I feel like the
Turbosaurus,
music started to feel a lot better when the Turbosaurus showed up.
and then the Turbosaurus appears, and I'm just hoping that the music will continue, but that would just be so brilliantly weird, and it does. And the entire fight scene is set to Japanese pop music, and it honestly gets kind of beautiful near the end.
I mean, I'm gonna say
it got
it's
emotional.
really heartbreaking death. Like it's just like
Yeah. The Dinosaurus dies at the end of it. We'll be blunt. It's honestly
The mother dies.
pretty nice. Yes, the protagonist dies, and it's one of the best dinosaur documentary deaths I've seen.
I don't think we've had this level. I personally never had.
I mean,
This level of emotional attachments ever since Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yeah, everyone says Giant of the Skies. Honestly, this is up there with Giant of the Skies.
I think it's not S, because I think Benjamin Bartlett in Giants of the Sky theme, the violin solo at the end, it's just much more heartbreaking. This is pretty close.
Okay, I suppose. But yeah, this definitely is second. It beats out every other Dinosaur Documentary. Nothing.
It
It
hit me.
Yeah, it did. It hit me.
Yeah,
honestly.
Same here.
So big props to ending this episode like that. But yeah, we should have saved this for the end of our review of episode 1. But there's equal enjoyment, if not more equal enjoyment, I'd say, to be found in this one segment that takes place in the episode, which is 2 segments really. It's a section set in Alaska. Now this section comes after the babies hatch and before the mother dies.
It's just such a random transition. We've spent the entire episode in this place, and we just randomly jump into Alaska.
But I guess they wanted to do I guess they wanted to do both, and figured, okay, let's start out with the Dinosaurus one, and then save the Arctic one for the end. And they were like, wait, no, we need to save the climax for the end. Okay, so we'll just move the Arctic one to the very end, and then just shift the Dinosaurus death scene to the very, very end.
It's a good choice.
But it works in the show, actually, I feel.
Prince Creek Formation time.
Yeah. Prince Creek Formation time. So we start out with... Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we start with...
Just hit us with it, Armin. Just hit us.
Here we go.
The one thing we've talked about so much already. Our dear, beloved Elasmotherium Pachyrhinosaurus. Jurassic World, the game, would be proud.
Yep.
Destroy it.
So what do you guys think?
Destroy it. Delete it. I don't want to see this anymore.
Bad. I like the color scheme, but it's just bad.
I like the thrill, but it's just over the... Yeah. I don't even think it's that terribly designed, but the fact that it's this one single massive horn at this point in time, after this entire meme has been disproven already, like 1 year after it was properly described in a paper. Whatever.
Yeah. It was 1 year after this species, Lacustae. Also, Lacustae in the Prince Creek Formation, when we have known of Peritorum for 7 years now. Yeah.
Obviously, Lacustae is the superior species.
No, Peritorum. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, now I would like to point out, and I know a lot of people disagree with my pointing this out, or rather with the inference I make from it. But give me a second to find the picture. I'm looking now at the 2008 paper, which brought up the horn hypothesis. And my belief is... okay, I found it. Okay. So my belief is that they actually read this paper, which is more than I was expecting them to do. Because if you just look at the reconstructions they put in the paper, because the paper puts forth 2 hypotheses, the horned hypothesis and the hornless hypothesis. And this is what they have for the horned hypothesis, which is basically exactly what the documentary shows.
What?
So I'm gonna hypothesize that they actually read this paper and actually based their reconstruction off of this. Because this isn't like that dumb Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom thing, the way they just went, Pachyrhinosaurus had a horn. Okay, just bring up generic Ceratopsid and slap a horn on it. They actually read this paper. They just missed the 2009 paper. They just didn't read about that.
It's a kind of weird position where it did enough research to properly reconstruct it, but didn't enough research to figure out that 1 year later the entire idea was thrown into the trash.
Yeah.
So it's like it's weird in between. Oh, well, they put an effort, they tried, and come on, guys. please try a little bit harder next time.
Yeah. But I will give them
So-
props for this. The documentary does not dwell on it, at least not
I
visually.
mean, again, the narrator might have said, "Oh, look at this massive horn made of keratin and stuff." Again, I do a fantastic Japanese female. Thank you very much.
You do a fantastic Japanese female impression, Armin.
Yes.
Impression.
Honestly, I should dub anime. Come on, hire me.
But yeah. So I have mixed feelings about it, but it wasn't as painful as I expected because they don't dwell on it at all. And the design is terrible, but the quality of the visual effects is honestly really good. Like, I honestly forgot I wasn't watching Walking Dinosaurs 3D when there's this one shot of it turning away and walking from the camera, because it does honestly get to that level of quality, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the shot that stood out to me was when it was digging in the snow. Like, for a second, I wasn't sure if they were actually using an animatronic, or a puppet, or CGI, because that looked amazing to me.
No, what I mean is the bit where they're walking away in the summer
I know
segment.
which scene you mean. I just brought up one scene I personally felt was fantastic.
Right. But yeah, that's all. Wait, no, that's not
another
all we can
issue
say.
with it.
This one is the bigger issue for me, honestly, personally.
I'm hitting you with it. It's here.
Those are feathers on the back of a Pachyrhinosaurus.
First of all, sure stuck to feathered dinosaurs. All dinosaurs in this episode get feathers.
First of all, those feathers aren't going to do shit. They're not going to do anything.
They literally only cover like the hump on the back up to the hip, and that's it. Not even the tie, but like your back hair isn't going to protect you when you stand nude in Siberia.
Yeah.
A little bit of a crude comparison, but you get my point.
No, I do. I would just like to point out, since we mentioned Siberia and the temperature, Prince Creek Formation probably wasn't actually as cold as this.
Yep.
The new paper found it was actually kind of similar to the Nemegt Formation. Actually a bit warmer, if I remember correctly, on seasonal average, but with more fluctuation in temperature. Whereas the Nemegt, like modern Mongolia, was actually pretty cold. And the Nemegt would have been around 7 or 8 degrees, just going very roughly. Whereas Prince Creek Formation,
because it's just CGI. Did you forget?
But yeah, Nemegt would have been about between 7 to 9, very rough. On annual average, Prince Creek on annual average would have been about 12 to 15 degrees Celsius, of course, the proper one. But it would have dropped lower. I don't think it would have dropped as low as negative numbers, though. Actually. So, yeah. A lot of actual paleomedia about Prince Creek is outdated. But for what it is, again, marvelous location. I just want to point that out. Miles better than the golfing course that they managed to find in New Zealand.
I mean, I'm surprised Trump didn't show up in the background.
Yeah.
Anyway, can
I
we
mean,
move on?
I just want, there's also just on the cover location. There's just one absolutely gorgeous location later on, which is this like dead forest, sort of dead forest, like winter forest in the snow that one of the animals goes to, and there's a lot of sequences there, and it's really beautiful. The forest scene in Prince Creek.
So we can move on to the other boy.
Yes, the second of the 3 Prince Creek boys. Bring it.
Which one?
The next one to appear.
Well, the scene is from later on, but
no.
I should go with the Steam Thames version.
What?
Aurora Borealis.
No. Go with the one where it's just hit us with the normal one. The one we agreed on. Oh my!
It's the one we agreed on.
No, that's
Yes,
not the
it
one we
is.
agreed on. No,
Wrong one.
Armin, how dare you?
You told me to use this one.
Well, no, I said use this one too because I said this one's pretty too. That's literally all I said.
And you guys don't leave the work to me.
Stay out of this.
This is the one I meant.
And you should have reacted to it.
I didn't not
I swear to God.
Don't do that.
I'm literally gonna pull up proof of this.
Okay, no. I found proof. It's okay. You are right, but I don't care.
Okay. Point
This
is,
is why you guys should depend on me.
This is our Troodon. It's gorgeous. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I love it.
It's
I only
incredible.
have one issue with it, which is from later on. But let's move. It's
well, there's one inaccuracy, which is the lack of primaries.
Well, yes, it's not an accuracy that I was gonna point at. Just a personal thing.
Okay, yeah, but in terms of inaccuracies, there is the lack of primaries. There is also one other thing, which is it lacks a tail fan. It lacks enlarged feathers on the tail, forming either a fan or like a palm frond sort of thing. A frond of feathers just along the tail. And this sort of thing, where it's got enlarged feathers on the tail, is known in both specimens of feathered troodontids that we have. In fact, there is no Deinonychosaur preserved that lacks a tail fan. So that's a thing. I just want to point out it's not the most parsimonious depiction, the lack of a tail fan, since we have troodontids and basically all feathered dinosaurs have this tail fan. I want to share a picture actually just to show what is actually. I'm gonna hit you up with my boy Xanabazar, another troodontid, which has this sort of enlarged tail feathers. Pennaceous actually, like the ones on the wing. We have these from Jinfengopteryx and Jianyan Hualong.
Jianyang Huanlong.
Jianyan Hualong, which I'm also going to share a picture of. All of these preserve this sort of elongated feathers on the tail. Xanabazar does not, because it does not preserve any feathers. But all of the ones that preserve the tail and feathers have this element on the tail. Whether or not you consider that an accuracy, my opinion is really up to you. It's not the most, depicting it without a tail fan is not the most parsimonious conclusion. But I don't know if we have enough data to call it an inaccuracy. But that's really just being really niggly with it, I guess.
That's our job.
It's our job.
It's our job. So yeah. So that's it. For the inaccuracies. It looks gorgeous up close. I just want to say these pictures, because we did full body pictures, it's absolutely gorgeous from a distance, from up close and from a distance. Did you have another photo you wanted to share, Armin, of the troodontid?
Yes.
Not the one I yelled at you for.
Which was your fault.
Hush. Yes. So there's the obligatory sequence with the Aurora Borealis.
At this time of year?
At this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely for me.
We cut out a little, but I think you get the point.
Yeah. So that's really nice. I'm trying to find a picture now, just up the close-up of the head. So just give me a second.
I think Beaver is screaming internally right now.
Okay, Beaver, do you want to share a picture of the close-up of the head?
With pleasure. Just let me get through my screenshots real quick. I do have the image. Hold on. Is this the image you were referring to?
No, but that's good enough. Again, gorgeous. You get an incredible amount of detail with the feathers. It even has the light feathering on the face. It's really, really nice.
I like it for a little bit more on the smooth side. There's this fuss kind of stuff, but it works. It works.
I will say it does have the exact same head feathers as the Dinosaurus, which is a bit off-putting in my opinion.
That's the thing that was off-putting me in general, because there's later on there's a scene where it flashes them. But it turns out this really obnoxious-looking mohawk.
Okay, so the Japanese have now made a documentary where Troodon flashes a Pachyrhinosaurus.
Oh yeah, multiple flash Pachyrhinosaurus.
Multiple Troodons flash multiple Pachyrhinosaurus.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into Japanese fetishes later with the next episode, but...
You told me not to include it. Oh wait, yes, I have a picture.
No, I did.
Yes,
yeah.
I forget about it.
Yes. You goofed. Ha.
Yes, now I goofed. This podcast is just a series of Pachyrhino and me competing who goofs the most.
And Beaver's here, just absolute perfection on that.
Of course, he's our perfect little boy.
Thank you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hold on.
It's okay, Kalamaka. You're perfect too. I also can't tell your guys' voices apart, so I don't know who I'm talking to. But
what?
How dare you?
I can't believe this.
Okay, that was Beaver, right? Just checking. Okay. You said you had an issue with it, Armin?
Yes, I mean it's just a personal from a design side, because it just looked weird how the feathers are just flopping forward all the time. They've never been too fond of the feather mohawk. I think it looks fine in a quote-unquote flaccid state. I don't know how else to describe it.
Sure, no.
I don't know what else to say about it.
So its flaccid element goes erect when it tries to flash the Pachyrhinosaurus.
You said that, not me. Point is, I don't like it that much. It looks fun in the other scenes, but the thread display looks a little awkward.
Say it looks a little stiff. No.
Just making things worse.
All right.
Okay. They depicted some interesting behavior on this one, I think.
That they do.
Maybe showing it fishing.
Oh yeah.
Don't they compare Troodon head to a bird brain or something?
Oh, live bird brain.
Yeah, they have everyone's favorite Larry Whitmer from Whitmer Lab looking at the brain.
Is that the part with the parrot? With the macaw?
Yep, macaw.
Yeah. Macaw.
And then they also have a cockatoo, I believe, demonstrating tool use.
It's a fairly reasonable assumption, in my opinion. I mean,
there's
limited tool use even in crocodilians. At least there's.
I mean, you have it in monitor lizards as well. I believe monitors do have straight up tool use.
I don't know about monitor. I just know that certain crocodilians, I don't remember which genera, will basically use stick to attract birds which they catch.
Right. Yes. Well, this one does something similar in that it finds a cockroach, I believe, and drops it in a river, and this attracts a fish, which it eats. So this is using a lure, which owls today also use, I believe. There's some owls I believe I was watching a documentary where there's an owl that lives in the city. I'm using all the professional terms over in Brazil or in Rio, which uses trash, thrown away food to attract insects for one. So it's not impossible, I believe, that a troodontid would be
There are
able
also
to develop
modern
that.
herons which use smaller fish or insects to bait bigger fish.
I believe that's all we have to say about the troodontid itself. That's all it does. And then well, actually, no, there is more coming on later, but I would just like to mention early on that the troodontid is referred to as Troodon and being set in Prince Creek Formation is based on one of the two Prince Creek Formation troodontids, formerly referred to Troodon, because everything was in North America. So Prince Creek Formation has two troodontid remains. You have you have two brain cases from a normal-sized troodontid and teeth from a larger troodontid.
Tooth taxon.
It's not named. It's not named, so it's not technically a tooth taxon anymore.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Unless, of course, it's just a normal-sized troodontid with very big teeth, which would combine both of them. But assuming that the large tooth morph is the large teeth are representative of a larger morph, I believe this is what they based it on. Looking at the size chart, it does look considerably bigger than a troodontid actually would. Looking at the little size chart in the bottom right of the image there. So I think it's safe to say that it could be the giant troodontid, but whichever one it really is, it doesn't really impact the episode much. There's no big deal made about it. Again, kudos to them for not making a big deal out of it, as far as we know. And so after the whole fishing scene, it goes back to a forest, which is an amazing visual, as I already said, and it starts eating some nuts. Again, demonstration of omnivory, which is another thing troodontids very likely did. And that's where it is attacked by a very sneaky theropod. Nanucosaurus. Which is... It's grown on me, I will say. That one meme I did, which I just replayed on loop, has made me actually appreciate the model. I like that the skull is not your generic JP Rex skull. It still has elements of it, but it's much narrower, it's taller, it narrows a bit,
The feathers don't just cut off at the...
Yes, facial feathers, oh thank god. Yeah.
It's still
I mean,
it's still
I still don't exactly agree with it, especially as we discussed how Prince Creek wasn't as cold as it's always usually depicted as.
But to be fair, the documentary would have been completed by the time this knowledge came out. This knowledge came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned the fact that the documentary has extensive amounts of pronated hands.
I mean, at this point, it's like, well, yeah, but pronated hands. It's wrong.
But, yeah.
Whatever.
It's very bulky.
Wait, does the Troodon have pronated hands or not?
No, I don't think so. No, it doesn't.
Oh,
the Troodon, the the Huscaraptor, the Dinochirus switches between the two, which is, I believe, worst case scenario because the hands wouldn't actually have been... The radius would not have been able to move independently of the ulna to such an extent, which is how the arm rotates.
I see.
It's not... Pronating your hand isn't rotating the wrist. You can't rotate your wrist in that way. You're actually rotating the two arm bones in your hand. So it's actually the two lower bones that are moving, so to speak. Roughly. But dinosaurs will not have had this ability. It is inferred. It is believed. But yeah, so that's also a lovely shot of the Nanucosaurus stalking through the forest. It makes it really feel imposing, gives it a sense of size. It's big. I don't know if it's much bigger than in real life. The size of Nanucosaurus has been a matter of dispute, actually, because a lot of art and people online calculate that would have been about 5 meters long. But there was a recent Alaskan and or Canadian, I don't remember which one, I think it was Alaskan, probably, considering that's where it was found, meeting and presentation and stuff. And they had, at this sort of meeting room, symposium room and everything, they created a life-size silhouette of Nanucosaurus, and it was really big. It was more than 5 meters. It was more approaching your generic Albertosaurine in size.
Nanooksaurus, best boy.
It's honestly really nice. It's nice to see it get done. I don't know. I would still say Dino Dana has my favorite appearance of it. I'll be sharing a picture now. But oh well. I'll be doing that in post. The Walking with Dinosaurs 3D Gorgosaurus is likely representing Nanooksaurus, which I don't like that much. Yeah, and they retcon it in Prehistoric Planets 3D, which was the IMAX documentary version narrated by, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch. They identify it as Nanooksaurus, which I think is a really poor move, considering that it's an Albertosaurine. It would have been very different to the Tyrannosaurine that Nanooksaurus was. And then, of course, we have the absolute worst depiction of what may be a Nanooksaurus, which is that one PBS Arctic Dinosaur documentary where they identify it as Gorgosaurus and depict it with 3 fingers. So, Armin, you remember that one?
I do.
Yeah. Burn into your brain.
Men in Black technology didn't help me forget about that.
Yeah. So that's that. There's a sequence where the Nanooksaurus attacks the Troodon. It's a fairly decent chase sequence. It adds a bit of action. And then the Nanooksaurus just like trips in some ice and stuff.
Gets its leg stuck.
Yeah. It breaks through that thin ice. I'm unsure. The narration obviously does not help. Whether the Troodon intentionally led it over the icy lake. Who knows?
I'm not sure. I mean, visually, I would have assumed that it was on accident. It showed the.
I thought so first viewing.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Felt like the Troodon slipped itself, so it was more like on accident.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I rewatched it. I rewatched it, and I had a moment of hesitation. But for all we know, it wasn't.
Maybe the dub comes out. It's like. The sneaky Troodon has led the Nanooksaurus astray.
Yeah, basically. I'm very thankful they didn't add a mosasaur under there, like March of the Dinosaurs did. The ice mosasaurs.
I mean, there are Arctic mosasaurs, I think.
There's Canadian ones for sure, but I don't think anyone made it to Alaska. That being said, the sequence in March of the Dinosaurs may have been set further south. But still, I see iced over lake. Yeah. But that's...
It seems like a terrible place for an air-breathing lizard to be.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, so there's the Nanooksaurus, which concludes the list of genera for the Prince Creek Formation. Then there's a sequence where the Troodon... Well, we can call it Troodon since that's what the documentary IDs it has. That's fine. Where the Troodon, where there's these 3 Troodon flashing their feathers and trying to scare off a bunch of inquisitive Pachyrhinosaurus, which head back to the herd.
Ground.
Yeah, this is set in the summer, so it's more plentiful season, and it's revealed that they actually have a colonial nesting ground. So it's several individuals with their own nests grouping together, which is very nice. They're actually males, not females, which is again very accurate because it's been identified that the specimens of troodontids found on nests were predominantly, if not all, male. The narration identifies the main troodon as father. So, yeah. And then there's this one bit where the Troodon goes. It finds all of the eggs have hatched, and finds the babies welcoming it. Do you want to share a picture of the babies?
Yes, I'm at it.
Thankfully, they're not miniature adults.
Yeah,
they're actually both in terms of the feathering. But also the anatomy is really baby-like. They've got slightly bigger eyes. They've got a shorter snoot. They've got a shorter neck. They're just really, really well done. So I really like it. Yeah, there's not much more I can say. Really good. And then there's a sequence where it takes them to fish, and it's absolutely beautiful. And now, Armin, you can share the picture.
Wait, which picture is it now?
You slipped up once, but now.
Okay, yeah, this picture. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Oh.
Perfect, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I mean, oh my god. And it teaches them to fish, and one of them falls in, and it's honestly really nice. It's what would you liken it to? When Dinosaurs Around America, maybe, but even then,
it feels more like its own thing, to be honest.
it feels like its own thing, which is really nice to see. Something that's nice and feels nostalgic, I feel, because it reminded me more of the old documentaries of the Golden Age, but still with its own identity. So
yeah, it's a nice blend between having a somewhat story-focused animated bit. Oh, that Nick Cal left now. Okay.
He'll probably pop back in.
Okay. So it's this nice blend between storytelling, animation, but the talking head segments are pretty well done in my opinion. So they fit in pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like this old format done in a fairly fresh way and with great success, I would say.
Yeah. No, it's really good. I mean, that's pretty much concluded our discussion of this episode. It's a solid
7 out of 10 episode.
I would say a solid 7 out of 10 for me.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yep, 7 out of 10. Maybe 6. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't go that. I mean, because I feel my only issue with it is the accuracy. To be honest, the accuracy of the designs. But apart from the accuracy,
it's just like the accuracy and nothing else.
Yeah, other than the accuracy, it's pretty damn perfect.
I'm a little bothered by some of the designs, like.
True.
But I think it's still the storytelling.
For me, some of the CGI bothers me, like the Dinosaurus especially can seem very flexible at times. Instance, the epic final fight, and by epic I don't mean awesome, I mean actually really well done. Final fight, they're just flinging each other about. They're really light and bendy. So that kind of broke the feeling of watching a documentary because there's only like
it's just enough to stop it from being on, let's say, Walking with Dinosaurs level of oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah,
but it's still I think it's still above average and certainly not bad. So it's pretty high. I think 7 describes it pretty well.
I would honestly say that this is arguably the best. This episode alone is arguably the best documentary we've gotten since 2011 for sure. I would say. I don't think something's come close to this since 2011. You've had Titans of the Ice Age, which I guess kind of counts, but even then, that was okay. And Le Monde Perdu, and that's it.
Aside from that one.
It's the only one that wasn't a one-episode standalone, and which features substantial CGI and dinosaurs.
You Frenchman.
Yeah. Yes. But, yeah. So honestly, this is really damn good, and I'm honestly really happy about this one. And I would recommend it.
Check it out.
Definitely.
Definitely watch the dubbed version that we make.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah. And no, it's yeah. I mean, I can't say much else. It's beautiful, and at times it's beautiful at times, definitely. And it's got great feeling, and that's it. I can't say anything more. Very good entertainment. And I'm gonna stop talking now because I'll just end up repeating myself. Check it out and enjoy it, hopefully. And amazing CGI. Amazing CGI. I don't think we can give enough praise for the CGI.
Yes, it's pretty fantastic.
Especially the Prince Creek. Okay, I'll say this one. The Prince Creek formation two-parter, 2 segments, are some of the best things I've seen and are really damn good. Like I think the Prince Creek 2, the 2 Prince Creek ones are up there with belong in the Golden Age. Personally, I think that's the level of quality. Yeah, you have horned Pachyrhinosaurus, but that's not dwelled upon too much. And yeah, I really think Prince Creek, especially, you get some amazing visuals. With the Borealis, there's this one bit where it's in a blizzard at dusk as well. It's really...
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so really, I can't say more than that. It's really good. Check it out. And we've reached 1 hour and a half, so I think we'll be making this 2-part documentary review a 2-part documentary review. So I think we'll conclude part 1 here
Yeah, I was gonna ask how long this has been because I had the same
Yeah,
thought, to be honest.
It's been an hour and a half.
It felt like really long, so...
Yeah, well, we've had a lot to discuss. The next one, don't worry, we won't be discussing the plot as much. But we're not going to spoil, exactly what we'll be discussing for the next one. So stick around for the next one. But trust us, it's going to be lots of fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's like the black sheep of this family.
The family of two, yes.
The evil twin. The evil twin.
Yes, it's the evil twin, exactly. But we're not getting more into that. So we're going to sign off here. And we'll see you guys in the second part.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.